Hello, Eagles Nation. I'm back with my recap video. Now, I'm quite sure some of you all watched the game. I had the pleasure and enjoyment of watching a preseason game for the first time in 2 years. We all know the reason why preseason game wasn't showed last year because of the pandemic, like I mentioned in the other video that I did before this one. Um, the Eagles lost this football game 24-16. They lost by a total of, I think, 8 points. I think that's what it was. 16, 16, 17, 18, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Eagles lost the game by 8 points. Had many opportunities to win the football game, but as usual, the Eagles played most of their stars in the first half of the football game, as you can saw. Um, Such an amazement story with Quez Watkins. This is a guy who had the opportunity to show his skills last season, but was not able to. I think he had like 7 catches for 100 and some yards, a couple of scores last year, and not enough playing time. But he proved today, and in this very game, the very preseason game, that he actually play. He actually can play if given the opportunity. The dude had 1 catch from Joe Flacco, who also did pretty well with himself for so many passing attempts and attempts and passes for 178 yards, 2 touchdown scores. With Quez Watkins with the most explosive play, which was 1 catch for 79 yards, 1 score. The guy put on his afterburners. He made one of the cornerbacks look like a fool on the field, like the commentator said in the first half of the football game. So I watched the game. I had a chance to enjoy it. The offensive line did pretty well. It was good to see the entire starting offensive line out there on the field. Jordan Marlar did really well with his pad blocking. Like I said, the Eagles still got some issues to work with as far as the pass blocking concerned because Pittsburgh defense was able to get a pretty good decent pass rush up the middle and on the left side of the field where George Marilata was. So it just goes to show that like everybody was saying, the Eagles offensive line is very good when it comes to run blocking because the running game was exceptionally pretty good. They had Gaines well to run the football out there. They also had um, another running back. Oh yeah, the guy they claimed from Detroit. He ran the ball extraordinarily well. So the Eagles are a pretty good run blocking team. It's just that the next few games and these next practices, they got to get better with the pass protection because see, um, the quarterback, it make a difference who the quarterback going to be when it comes to week one start. We all know that number one is going to be the starting quarterback, but whoever the quarterback going to be, they got to do better in pass protection because for any of the quarterback to get some passes off, they gonna need at least 5 or 6 seconds of blocking where they can scan the football field and get the ball out in a hurry. Because I was looking at what they were doing for as pass blocking versus run blocking. So the run blocking was like 85 to 90% good. The pass blocking was like 60% and low. So it just goes to show that the Eagles need to work better on the pass blocking and less on the run blocking. So I'm hoping that Nick Sirianni can work his magic to get this offensive line to pass block better. And that's what I'm looking forward to seeing in the next game, which is next Thursday night. So I'm looking forward to seeing that game because I think that game is against the New England Patriots. So I think New England is supposed to come to the Lincoln Financial Field and do some some plays with them. You know what I'm saying? On field, off field battle. So I'm looking forward to find out how that works out. So now the wide receivers did pretty well. They caught some decent balls. Rager did real well. He had 2 catches. You know what I'm saying? He had the most catches for like 50 or 60 yards, and I think he he didn't catch a touchdown. I think the touchdown was caught by one of the other receivers, but I can't figure out who the receiver was. But all I know is Rager did real well. He caught two balls, and Watkins had one catch for the biggest yard of the night. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, the running game got out real well. Tight end did real well. Goddard had a couple of catches for I think 50 yards. I think that's what it was. And Ertz had 3 or 4 catches for like 25, 30 yards, 40 yards, so long. I'm not exactly sure how many yards he had, but all I know that Goddard had 50 yards on 1, 2, or 3 catches of the day. The running game, like I said, the running game was exceptionally well. Could have been better, you know what I'm saying? Because Gainwell had the most runs of the night because I think he went like 25, 30 yards for the entire game. I'm not exactly sure how many yards he had all together, but all I know is the defense. If I were to give it a grade from A to F, I would give it a C plus. C plus is mean. Reason why I say C plus because they need to do better with the pass protection because Flacco didn't have no time to get the ball out, but when he did, he made up for it because he stood in the pocket real strong and got the balls out. Mullins got sacked twice in this football game, and the other quarterback, number 1, I can't think of his name off the back. Wow, I mean, I cannot think of this guy's name. Anyway, he had some breakdown protections on the right on his left side of the football field where Mailata man his side, and he had some guys come up the middle on him. So that's why I gave this offense a C plus. I'm hoping that next week it gets better with a B plus or A, depending on the grade. Now for the defense. Now this is where I had an issue with. The first team defense did real well. They were able to get some good pass rush, and they actually got to the quarterback a couple of times. They only got 1 sack. Williams, the 3rd round pick from University of Louisiana, he had a decent pass rush. The other guys had a good. Ridgeway had a pretty good pass rush. They had BG out there. He did really well, and they had forgot the boy name. What is his name? Barnett did real well with a decent pass rush. And the other boy, I can't think of his number 94. I can't think of his name for the name in the world. I mean, his name is in my head. I'll think about it eventually. But that entire front 4 of the starting defense did real well. I give them a B plus because they got a decent pass rush. They able to contain the run. They able to contain the outside edges. You know what I'm saying? So the D line gets a B plus to me. Now the linebackers, the second string of the defense, have done pretty well. I give them a B minus because there have been some run plays that they could have done a little bit better on when it came to the running play because Pittsburgh was getting 10 yards after 10 yards after 10 yards. And they had the most yards in the latter part of the first half going into the second half. Or second half is the second string defense, which I'm going to get to in a few minutes. Like I said, the linebacking unit, the first team linebacking unit did real well. I give them a B plus as well, but they could have done real better. They could have done a better job at stuffing the run because the Eagles didn't do much. The Eagles didn't do no blitzing in this game, so I guess that's their way of not showing what they're gonna do when week 1 comes to a start. You know what I'm saying? So that's how every team works. Every team don't show everything they do in preseason. They only gonna show what you gonna see in the preseason games versus what you're gonna see in the start of the regular season. So the defense, the linebacking unit, I give them a B minus. Like I said, they could have done better, but they did. But they did better than expected. You know what I'm saying? Now for the cornerbacks and the defensive back team, they did extraordinarily well. They were able to contain most of the outside passes from the wide receivers. They tackled really well. We all knew that Darius Slay is a pretty good tackler. That we already know. You know what I'm saying? And Steven, I forgot the boy. I'm just gonna say Steven. Steven did really well on his side of the field, but but the but the capital of the day, McPherson. Wow, I never would have thought that McPherson done would be that good. You know what I'm saying? This is a guy who was chosen in the fifth round of the draft. You know what I'm saying? But we didn't think that he had the potential, but look like he does. You know what I'm saying? So he's proven that he can probably be a starting secondary in the near future. So that's why they signed the other boy to a 1 year deal, because McPherson has the potential to be the starter in next year's team, which is 2022. So um, overall, I'm gonna give the starting secondary. I'm gonna go ahead and give them a minus, because they tackled well. They contained a lot of the outside rushes. I mean, from the outside pass, they did really well on that, and they were able to contain a little bit of the outside runs from the running backs, from the screen passes and stuff like that. They tackled pretty well in there. The linebackers got into the groove, and the defensive front got into a groove. So the defensive line gets a B minus. I mean B plus. The linebacking unit gets a B minus, and secondary gets an A minus. That's how I grade this entire defensive unit as a whole, as far as the starting unit. Now, let's get to the second string offense, second string defense. Um, it shows. It really shows that the second string that was inexperienced got into the second half of this game, because the Eagles took all their starters out. So it was none of the starters, first string and second string, played. Well, the second string played in the little bit of the second quarter. I mean, a little bit of the second quarter of the first half. You started seeing some of the second string guys get out there. But when the third and fourth quarter came to a head, or when it started, when it begun, all the second string and first string offense, defense, and special team guys was on the side of the line. They had mostly all their third. They had a little bit of their second team and a little bit of their third team offense and defense out there, and so you can really tell of the inexperience of the third string teams. The offensive line couldn't protect pretty well, so you seen Mullins get sacked twice in this game. The Eagles couldn't run the football with the second string, with the third string offense. They couldn't run the football. They couldn't get passes off, because it's like Pittsburgh third string got the better of the Eagles third string offense and defense. So you really can tell of the inexperience when it comes to the third string offense and defense. So the offense, I give this offense a D minus, because they couldn't run the football in the second half. They couldn't get any passes off in the second half, and what pass they did get off, they wound up either being drops or being intercepted, because Munn threw 2 picks in the second half of the game, mostly in the fourth quarter. They couldn't get no runs off, because, like I said, Pittsburgh's third string defense contained the Eagles' outside passes, and they also contained a little bit of the inside runs as well. So you can look and tell the inexperience, because remember that Pittsburgh played Dallas, and they beat Dallas last week. But so Pittsburgh's third string gained the experience from last week, and so with this being the Eagles' first preseason game, it goes to show that this third string needs a little bit more work on offense. Defense, I give them a D minus all around. The defensive line, the linebackers, and the secondary. The secondary did a lot of the did majority of the tackling. Uh, but they tackles was like nine. It was like 5 yard, 5 yard tackles, 10 yard tackle for first downs. I mean, you can actually really see what the secondary was trying to do but couldn't do because Pittsburgh was way ahead of them. You know what I'm saying? And so Pittsburgh actually ran the ball extraordinarily well in the second half of this football game, and the defensive front were getting pushed around, getting pushed off the line of scrimmage. You can actually look and tell because when your defensive line get pushed back, that means the run game can go right up the middle and you're gonna miss the tackle. So you leave for your third string linebackers to tackle, and they sometimes gonna miss their tackle because they're inexperienced based on bad angles when you're making tackles. So it just goes to show that the Eagles' third string defense need a little bit more work, and the Eagles' third string offense need a little bit work. So, with that being said, we lost the game in the second half. The second half of the game we lost because we had the lead. The lead was 16 to, I think 16 to 3. I think that's what it was. I think it was 16 to 3. I believe it was 16 to 3 or 16 to 7. That was the lead. The Eagles didn't do any more scoring in the second half. So it didn't go to show that Pittsburgh third string defense was well advertised because they did real well. They had the experience based off from last week. Like I said earlier in this video, they had the experience based off last week because, like I said, they beat Dallas. So, but they gained the experience because they were better than us. Their third string defense and third string offense was better than the Eagles' third string offense, third string defense. So I mean, and that's the more you can say. Like I said, the offense gets a D minus. I might have said C, yeah, D minus, and the Eagles' third string defense also gets a D minus, which means they need a whole lot of work. So I'm hoping that Nick Sirianni saw what he had to see with his third string teams, offense and defense, and work on them going for tomorrow, because tomorrow Friday. I think tomorrow's their off day, and I think the Eagles begin practice again. I think next Sunday, what I believe, because they got practice from Sunday going up until Thursday. Because Thursday is the next Thursday in the next football game against, I think, New England. What I want to say. So, and they also had a bunch of injuries as well. So we're not exactly sure when we're gonna see Devonta Smith, because when they showed him, they showed him up there in the owner's booth. So he didn't play because he was in the owner's booth. So it was good to actually to see him in cheers and good smile, because he was smiling when the camera actually caught him and showing some footage of him at the University of Alabama. So it just goes to show that I watched this football game and I saw it from the beginning to the end of the football game. So like I said, the Eagles on the football game 24-16. So this was actually was a learning experience, not with the first team and not with the second team. Not with the first string and second string did real well. It's the third string that did horribly. The third string is reason why the Eagles on the football game. So that's my outtake on it. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is your boy, The Green Talent, coming at you. You can do 4 things for me: like, comment, share, and push the like and comment in the bottom, and comment in the comment section at the bottom of the video. So please enjoy the football game. I enjoyed it. It was my first preseason game in 2 years, so I had a lot to say. I had a lot to get off my chest. Like I said, I represent my birds to the fullest. That's the flag behind me right there, and here's the big flag that I bought last year. No, last year, was it last year? No, I bought this flag this year, I believe. Think about this year. So that's my video. Green Talents, Fly Eagle Fly. Peace out.